can you welcome and can you take over? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And let me start by welcoming everyone on the call to this what I would like to call short but hopefully interesting session. And hopefully at the end of this session, we would have ignited, kind of some level of interest in all of us. And this interest can actually be harnessed to any level that we might want to, and also hopefully provide us with a bedrock in gaining more within the information technology space. So thanks once again. I think usually I would have loved to go through, a brief introduction with everyone on the call, just to keep this a bit interactive and make sure that we are all on the same page as we are starting. And don't mind my glasses, please. My name is Tajuddin Suleiman, and just like the host has described me, I am me, myself, and I, and I will try to call each one of us, our names, so that maybe we can just have a quick rundown. I think we can do that in less than 5 minutes because I think the numbers we have here should be able to run that quickly. So I will start with Afolabi Abdulaziz. Please, can you just let us know you, let us meet you briefly? Thank you. It appears you might be having some teething network challenges. So if you are having that, you can please feel free to drop a message in the chat if you are not able to talk. All right, so let's go to Ayomikun Garuba. Mr. Ayomikun Garuba, are you there? No, that's fine, Abdulaziz. I think we noticed that. Okay, let's go to Ayomikun Garuba is not there. Let's go to Modesta Uzo. Please, can we meet you? Okay, since we can't also meet Modesta, let's go to Moji Sola Garuba. Can we meet you?
Okay. Yeah, it's Mojisola Garba, not Garba. Anyway.
I'm struggling. My apologies. I'm struggling to. I'm struggling to be sure. Are you sure there's no, misspelling here? Well, apologies, please.
It's actually Garber.
Okay.
Garba. Yeah.
Garba. Okay.
Just like Coca Williams and all that. It's not Garba.
Don't mind me. You can figure where the Garuba is coming from. Tajuddin Suleiman. I'm just bringing you into that.
So that's nice. How are you? Okay,
Very
actually,
fine.
I'm Mojisola Gaba. I'm ED of our Cash Microfinance Bank. And well, that's all I can say for now.
All right. Great. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks so much for joining us, man.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. And Afolabi Abdulaziz, thanks. You for dropping that message on the chat also. Okay, I think that's okay. Sorry, Ruth Oyewusi. Sorry for I want to miss that out.
Hey, good evening. My name is Ruth Yossi, and I'm a UI/UX designer here at Upskilling.
Okay, that's good. That's good. And allow me to share my screen so that we can dive into the conversation. All right. Let me start here. I think this particular program, I think it's important to highlight that this is actually a very interesting program that allows people to kind of, and I see this program as more of trying to ignite that interest in people, trying to bring out that level of a renewed commitment towards the information technology space, and in trying to redefine and reassess what might be of interest to each and every one of us as with respect to information technology altogether. Information technology itself, it's a space that is very broad, massive, and has a lot of branches, and also even sub branches. Some of the branches also have sub branches. And it is important that as you try to define a career path in information technology, you're able to position yourself into doing what you like and what you relate with, because that helps you to become a better person with respect to that field. And it could be any branch of the information technology. And I know we've been speaking to a lot of great speakers since this program started, and today also I'm intentionally, from the topic itself, we are supposed to speak to only software support, but intentionally I've included incident response within cybersecurity as part of what we're going to talk about. So on this, we are going to talk about opportunities in incident response within cybersecurity and also software support. We jumped the first slide. I think the host did a very good introduction of myself. So diving into this, and please feel free, you can drop your questions in the chats as we go along, and by the end of the program, by the end of this session, we will review those questions, because sometimes I know that you might have some things and you don't want to lose your thoughts. You can drop that down and then we can review all that together by the end of the session. So to go into what software support is, and before this, and I need to say that software support is an area in information technology that is very relatable worldwide. The software support person in Nigeria is the software support person in Canada. The software support person in Canada is software support person in United States of America, or anywhere at all. And the difference usually is in the tools that is being used in the different organizations, or the level of support that is expected. Things like what type of expectation is required with respect to how you respond to events, how you address customer issues, and largely the type of applications and the way you support those applications. But there are key components into understanding what what software support is all about. And some of those key components are what I will list here today. And these key components are what I see as the high level overall of what you need to imbibe, to understand about software support. So if this interests you, software support might be an area, an aspect you want to develop in. One of those, to start with, one of that is the troubleshooting. Troubleshooting is like a computer has a CPU, the central processing unit of the computer is the core function of the whole computer system. Troubleshooting is almost the core of our software support, because you are able to develop the skills of diagnosing and resolving problems. Now, that skill of diagnosing and resolving problem, everybody always feels, anybody always think they can do it. But trust me, when you become a software support person, you understand that troubleshooting itself is a whole big game. And imbibing with experience, imbibing that ability to properly troubleshoot is not only going to make you a very good support person, it's also going to make you a very good resource to any organization that you find yourself. Another key component is maintenance, which is very essential. You have to maintain the software applications, make sure the applications are running as required, and make sure that if there's any issue, you proactively identify those issues and identify a pathway to resolution. One other very key important component is customer service. In as much as we have customer service officers that their primary roles are to support and attend to customers when they have issues, as a software support person, you also want to have very good customer service relations. And this is because you also have customers. So as a software person, you're probably supporting a software application that is in use by an entire organization. So many times you have complaints from anybody within the organization, and you have to attend to that complaint. And in attending to that, you have to attend in a way that displays very excellent customer service, because your soft skill, as much as your hard skill in terms of troubleshooting, it's also very essential. And that's why I say that software support is not for who has anger issues. If you have anger issues, you don't want to be in software support, because you might be so good technically. However, not developing your soft skill will adversely affect your impact on the job, because the way you manage your customers, when you say customers now, it doesn't have to be the user out there using the service. It could be an internal organization. It could be an internal team within the organization. So how you manage the people that raise issues to you is very essential and also very critical within software support. So last component I highlight is user training. And this is also very important, because as a software support person, what you tend to do is to grow into the application that you support. You understand the application, and you become more like a subject matter expert in the usage and the workability of that application. And in that, you are able to educate users on how to use the software. And that also is helps you grow more, because what it does for you is that it keeps you on your toes in learning, and not just supporting the application because you just come into the office every day and log into it. It helps you to get a whole of those applications, get a good understanding, a good grasp, and you're able to speak as a subject matter expert on any of those applications that you manage. All right. This, generally, we just kind of highlight importance of software support. What are these importance? Ensuring software functionality, improving user experience, minimizing downtime, customer retention, compliance, and security. We've touched some of this in the previous slide. I'll just go to compliance and security. Compliance and security, it's one key part of software support, because usually organizations go through audits, go through compliance checks, some yearly. And in going through those compliance checks, you want to make sure that the application you support actually adhere strictly to the requirements based on the standards that might be governing the operation of that application within the space it operates. Like, for example, let me give you an example of such a compliance check is something we call the PCI DSS, the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standards. This PCI DSS is a standard that every organizations that store sensitive customer data, card data, have to run through every year. You have to be certified. So by being certified, it means that all the applications that you manage, you use within that organization, that carries out functions that involves storing customer critical information, they have to meet some specific standards. And you, as a support person for that application, you are, your role is critical in ensuring that the organization gets certified for that certification, and also making sure that your application that you support is compliant, with that standard. So, for example, one of those compliance could be that a statement saying that when you are storing customer information, you must not store customer information in clear. You must store customer information in an encrypted or hashed format, depending on the particular standard. So you have to make sure that before the period to get certified, you have to make sure that your application is well in compliance with that standard. And that's because that will invariably help your organization in getting certified accordingly. All right, so that's I hope to have used those two slides to have ignited a bit of interest in software support, some of us. However, going into incident response now. Incident response is something I would like to call a very structured approach, to addressing and managing the aftermath of a security breach. Now, there are many ways to define this. Just using this as a way to communicate what incident response is really all about. It's about a structured way how you respond, to aftermath of a security breach. And many times now, we don't only wait until the security breach has happened before we respond. We actually respond also to imminent threats. So if an imminent threat is identified, you can also go through the incident response process and respond to it. And incident response is actually a very interesting area. And it's an area where if you are someone that actually likes getting to the, doing something we call a deep dive, getting to the root of every investigation, getting to understand the nitty gritty of whatever is happening, what is causing it, and understanding how to help the organization, to take steps to address those concerns. Incident response is an area that you might really want to explore. And this, usually involves detection, analysis, containment, eradication, recovery, and lessons learned. Lessons learned is critical because during the phases of incident response, you get to see what might have not been done properly that could have been done in a particular better way. So when you identify all those within the lessons learned, or some people call it postmortem, within that, you are able to feedback, those lessons that you've learned during the containment and eradication of the incident into the organizations, so that you can, in future, prevent such an incident from happening again. All right. So, importance of incident response. In cybersecurity, we said that it helps in protecting sensitive information. It helps in minimizing damage. Helps also with compliance, with compliance, with regulations, and also it helps in maintaining business continuity. It helps to make sure that we don't get to experience an issue where we will not be able to recover, or we don't get to experience an issue where we don't know the next thing to do. And that's why for every organization, a good incident response plan is very important. It's critical, because when you have that incident response plan, you know exactly what to do, how to do it, where to go when you face any threats, either be it imminent or be it actually an incident itself when it has crystallized. All right, all right. So I also hope this brief conversation around incident response would also help us to ignite some of this interest also. And it's an area that if you get to go into very broad, an area where you have to continuously stay ahead of the threat actors, you have to continuously develop yourself, you have to continuously grow in the process of responding. And there are quite a number of standards that also guide the incident response plan. And these standards are updated continuously. So you have to, it's an area of continuous learning. So if you're someone that you always want to develop, you always want to know what's happening next, incident response within cybersecurity might be an area you want to explore. Okay, so going into current trends in software support. Current trend in software support includes, but are not limited to this that I've identified: automation and AI, remote support, self-service options, omni-channel support, personalization. Now, in software support, the idea within software support is to make sure that you always constantly evolve to make whatever application that you support more user-friendly. You make it more interactive. You are able to also support it seamlessly without any uh, uh, huge or cumbersome way of trying to get the support out. One of the things I would highlight here is the remote support. If you remember vividly, I think especially in Nigeria, remote support has not been something that has been very popular. But from when COVID-19 came in, COVID-19 actually changed, caused something, caused a paradigm shift, in the way that many organizations in Nigeria see support. And many organizations then discovered and found out that, oh, actually, we can actually give our support staff access to support applications anywhere, anytime. I remember that I have had experience within software support personally, and I've also had experience within incident response. And for software support, I know that there are many times when you can't be at home and they give you a call at 2 a.m. that there's an issue, and the best you can do is to probably be on the phone with either the customer service agent that is speaking to you, or for some organizations, the staff that has been assigned to the night duty. Now, what COVID caused is that change in the sense that you can give me a call by 2 a.m. and all I need to do is to put on my laptop, connect to the appropriate security tools that have been put in place to ensure that my connection to the systems in the office are secured and are going through every level of multi-factor authentication to make sure that I access securely. And I can quickly help or assist in resolving that issue. And a lot of organizations found that making staffs work from home actually did not adversely impact service. In fact, in many occasions, it actually help those staff to be able to respond faster to issues. And sometimes some of us that used to work, back then, that they used to call every time, and they will say that, oh my God, because you are now working from home, anybody can call you at 8 p.m., 10 p.m., 2 a.m., like I said, and they expect that, oh, you should still be able to help them to solve that problem. But in the past, when he's from office, once you leave the office and anybody calls you, you tell the person, please, till tomorrow, And I remember when I was working in an organization and I was leaving the office around 10 p.m. and I got a call from the contact center that, oh, the managing director, the PA to the managing director actually was trying to use to do a transaction for the managing director and is unable to do it. I said, okay, sorry, do you know the time? Said, yes, the time is 10 p.m. I just left the office, and on that day, luckily, I wasn't asked to go back. But what happens some days is that depending on the gravity of the issue, you might have to now go back into the office at that time to try to resolve the issue before going home. Whereas remote support offered, that flexibility to be able to work from anywhere. If I know a number of people that work from Nigeria and support, work with companies across the globe, different countries. That is, an example of remote support. So if you build yourself within software support, it's something that it's invoked now. A lot of organizations understand that you can actually work from anywhere and support whatever application you want to support. You don't have to physically be present in the office. It has made software support to be, in terms of opportunities available in software support, it has made it more global. So you can now be in Nigeria and working for an organization in the United States of America, and you'll be fine. And all you need to do is to log onto your laptop, connect via your necessary security tools, and you're good to go. Okay. Going into current trends in incident response, one of the very key things in incident response is the growing number of threat actors. Threat actors in this regard are those bad guys that are out there that are ready to to utilize any possible loophole to either get a ransomware into your environment, or get a hold, exfiltrate your data, and then ask you to probably pay a ransom, or just to unnecessarily disrupt your services for reasons best, for whatever motivation factor that they had at the time. And in responding to those ingenious ways that some of these threat actors come up, you also have to stay, as an incident responder, you have to stay ahead of them. You have to stay one step ahead. And that's why I said, I did say earlier, this is an area of constant and continuous learning. You have to stay ahead of them. You have to continuously learn about the tactics, techniques, and procedures of a particular threat actor. If you hear about a new threat actor, you want to understand their tactic. You want to understand if they have some indicators of compromise, if they have some things that they do naturally that are constant to them. When you know that, you feed that into your uh, your uh, security operations centers within the organization, and it helps the organization to learn ahead of when, if or when, that threat actor can attempt to to attack the organization. So it's an area that is very interesting for those that might be interested in cybersecurity, and you find it very engaging, and you always be on your toes. Okay, so let's now go here, and I think it's important to flag that this is the most important aspect of of our conversation, and this is where we have been trying to get our thoughts towards: career opportunities in software support. Career opportunities in software support are not limited to the three that are mentioned in this slide. In fact, we have in Nigeria, software support, we kind of refuse to agree on a name to call support people. Different organizations come up with different names, but what is most important is the function, what they do, and what your role will be, and what your interest also will be, as someone that is looking to maybe take opportunities within software support. So one of those examples of a role you can have in software support is a technical support engineer, software support specialist, customer support analyst. And I need to say that these roles are not usually defined in a specific way. So for example, you can be a software support specialist, and you can be you can be doing something similar to what the technical support engineer does, depending on the organization, depending on the application. So you might have to be the one to diagnose if there are issues within the application. In fact, in some organizations in Nigeria, you might even have to be a project manager, on a number of projects that you have to implement within that application. And I think especially looking at the experience in Nigeria and here in Canada, I say that in Nigeria we tend to lump a lot of some of these skills together especially under software support. You tend to you can actually be an architect, because you will be responsible sometimes for designing the operability of that of that application. You can actually also be a project manager, because you actually either lead or participate actively in leading an implementation of maybe an update, maybe a new service, maybe a new application that you are going to support within the organization. And you can also be a business analyst, whereas you are the one that will probably talk to the business, that will probably write out the requirements that are expected in any new solution that the business is trying to come up with. And you have to now help them to look at how to interpret those requirements within the information technology to be able to implement those applications. So I say, especially in Nigeria, as a software support person, you tend to develop multiple skills that when you come to economies like United States of America, Canada, UK, and some of these Western world, more advanced economies, you find out that you are able to show yourself, to stand your ground on a number of different roles. You are able to, go to interviews for a business analyst role, and you are able to speak. Project management, you are able to, to also communicate, because within the software support in Nigeria, if you are someone that really has very good interest, if you're really interested in software support, you find that in Nigeria, you tend to build all these different skills. And if you harness any of them, you are going to, be a software support person that is equipped with multiple, possible roles. Let me give an example. When I got into Canada, uh, I got a bit confused on, okay, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? And this is because, over time, I've had within software when I was working as a software support person, I've had very good experience leading multiple projects, implementing those projects successfully. I've had to, work actively with cybersecurity to resolve security threats, to address vulnerabilities in different servers. I've had to, um, you know, help business to interpret uh, from their high level understanding uh, how uh, how best to implement any ideas they might have, what can work, what might not be able to work, based on the operation, of whatever application that we are trying to implement. And because of that, I have that cross skill across different roles that I might wish, to go into. And that's what, I think that's a very important benefit, especially as a software support person in Nigeria. You find a lot of organizations that make you do all these things, that make you develop all these skills. And if you put your mind at it, you're able to not only be a good support person, you're able to also be, a good project manager, business analyst, cybersecurity, specialist, depending on your interest when you move it. So, but coming to software support, technically you have to understand the specific software applications and understand the troubleshooting techniques. It's important to keep emphasizing on these troubleshooting techniques. Troubleshooting is not just troubleshooting. You have to know your way around your application. You have to know your way to quickly identify issues that might be in that application. And that gives you a very good, standout, someone that manages that particular application. And if on a light note, there was an application that I used to manage when I was in Nigeria, when I was working as a software support person. And that application, up until today, some people I know within the industry still try to call me for one or two. We still have discussions on some issues that are coming up, and probably I've not touched the application in like 4 or 5 years, but I still have that understand, and that's because of the interest, the drive, the way I immersed myself into understanding that application. still stays with me. In my head, if I close my eyes, I still know my way around, the application to a very good level. And that's something that is only that interest in you that can make you do it. Nobody can really do that for you. But if you're interested in getting to the root of the application you manage, because that makes you a very good software support person, and it helps you in very many other applications, because most times, depending on the the way the application is developed, troubleshooting has a specific steps. You probably want to check here, want to check the log. So by the time you explain, when you probably are looking for other opportunities, by the time you explain what you do on your own job, the person speaking to you definitely know that you know exactly what you are doing. So another critical thing is the soft skill. Soft skills is very, very important. Strong communication, like I said, patience. You know, software support is not. If you have anger issues, don't go into software support. You know, because you will find some people that will come at you, ask you questions that you consider to be very irrelevant, and you have to, by the virtue of your role, answer them in a very clear way. You must not get angry in answering questions. So your soft skill is very key, together with your technical skills. Technical skills alone will not make you a good software support person. You need that soft skills with it. And if you're that person that is able to merge these two, or willing to merge these two to become a better IT person, I say software support is an area you can look to, you can look to take advantage of. Okay, so for incident response, also here we have many names. Usually, incident responder is part of most names, but there are some guys they call threat on, hunters, threat hunters, and for the threat hunters, their major work is actually to stay alert and be out there looking for any possible any possible threat that might be applicable to that organization. They are out there in the World Wide Web, in the open World Wide Web, and also in the dark web, the ones that is not accessible to everyone, looking for anybody that might have uh, compromised any organization, understanding how they did that so that they can prevent that from happening within the organization, or checking for the organization's data anywhere. Did any threat actor mention that they've compromised maybe a third party of the organization and released our own data? So they are out there getting into the details of identifying any compromise, any possible compromise to the organization's reputation, data, or services, anything at all. And for the skills that might be required, for technical skills, knowledge of network systems and security tools will make you a very good incident responder. I would say you can take this at a time. You can always build yourself, and because you don't become 100 immediately you start any particular function. The most important thing is that you know interest to become better, that interest to develop, to grow within the role. If you have that drive, you might find incident response as a good area where you can continuously grow. And like I said, it's an area where you have to stay on top your game. So there's continuous learning. Like the threat hunters, like I said, they are always out there looking for information. The incident responders are, continuously working based on the incident response plan to address whatever issues that the organization might have, either in an imminent capacity or might have either in a crystallized capacity, one that has impacted. Okay, so what are the certifications that you can have as a software support person? You don't have to have a degree in computing. There are a number of certifications that you can have, not limited to these that I've listed here. Those certifications can help you understand information technology and can position you to, building your career within software support. And need I say, when I say software support, I'm referring to a whole lot of other roles that can be categorized as software support. Functionally, it's what matters. Functionally, I'm actually looking at that person that is able to support an application, maintain that application, troubleshoot, and make sure that customers get the best of the application. That is what you are as a support person. So whether you're a software support person, application support, technical support, anything, if you don't have a background in IT, information technology, even if you do, some of these certifications will also apply to you. Like, for example, for those that do not have a background in information technology, you might want to explore the CompTIA A+. Yeah, the CompTIA A+ it tries to give you the basic understanding of computing and everything that is associated with a system, what it is, what data is, and all that together. So if you want to understand IT from the basics and you don't have a background in information technology, CompTIA A+ might be an area where you start with. It is never your stop, it is your start, because there are more you have to grow into to getting better within the software support field. Also, the information technology infrastructure library certification, it has different stages. The ITIL certification, it has different stages, but generally it just helps in understanding of service management best practices using a particular framework. So he has his own framework, and when we say framework, we're talking about a structured approach where they feel they have documented to support you in managing service within an organization. And when you follow those processes will get you your best possible results in whatever goal you have in that service. Another one is the Microsoft certified modern desktop administrator. It's a good one. Linux Professional Institute certification is also good. And Linux itself, for those that do not know, Linux is an operating system. It's just like the Windows. Not very common, in Nigeria especially, compared to Windows operating system. But it's an operating system that is now very in vogue. And for those that have the understanding and the technical know-how of how to navigate around Linux, they become hotcakes more easily than the guys that knows how to work with Windows, because Windows is actually very popular. A lot of people have this technical know-how, and if you happen to explore the Linux operating system, angle, you find that you become hotter than a cake. All right, so for incident response certifications that you might consider, certified incident handler, certified information system security professional, that's a massive one, certified information security manager, certified ethical hacker. So these certifications are more like very advanced certification where you want to go to. So I say for an incident responder, you want to probably start with a computer security plus. Yeah, a computer security plus, and a whole number of other certifications that kind of prepare you for the rudiments of what cybersecurity is about. Then you can graduate into some of these certifications that I've listed here. Like for the CISM, it's a management focused certification for IT professionals within the cybersecurity space. It helps you in terms of incident response planning. It helps you in terms of organization. It helps you in terms of management level within the cybersecurity space. For the certified information system security professional, it helps you with a whole knowledge around security principle and practice. It's a very technical certification, but trust me, when you become a CISSP, people will come to your house to offer you a job. Literally, not like that, but maybe. So, but you find yourself very, very, very essential uh, within the industry when you have some of these certifications. I think in Nigeria, we don't have so many cybersecurity professionals that have some of these certifications. And if you have them, you find that you become uh, a better candidate in the market in the face of anyone that is trying to get people to join their organization. And you find out that some of these certifications can help you cross boundaries, can help you uh, get jobs over the seas, across from different organizations in the world. All right, so coming to the intersection. So I try to apply this so that we can see the connection between incident response and software support. These are two different areas, and but they both offer you opportunities to become a very good IT person and also to earn good amount of money for yourself, especially in Nigeria and outside Nigeria. And a lot of people will be like, salary in Nigeria is not high. But trust me, within the information technology space, you can create a lot of wealth for yourself in Nigeria. And if you have these skills, you decide, and it might not be this that we are talking about today, sorry. It might be anyone that you might have, developed interest in since the program started. I would say be dedicated, uh, drive at it, get the necessary skills, certifications if necessary, and put yourself in a very good position within the market. And trust me, you will be shocked at how much you will be able to make uh, in a very short time. So, what are the intersection? We have the shared focus on problem solving and support. We have, technical expertise, analytical skills, and communication. Very key for both of them. Those skills are important. And also, one of the things I've said now, diverse career paths and potential for specialization. You can have potential for specialization and you could really be broad. Like, for example, you could have potential to be an expert, a subject matter expert in support of Linux operating systems applications, or you could also be an expert in support of Java applications. So depending on how you want to build yourself, depending on how you see your growth or your area of interest. And I try to say this, try to make sure that before you dive into IT, when you might want to, when you might decide to get into any of uh, the the roles, the many roles within information technology, try to make sure that you are driven by interest, you're driven by willingness to operate in that space. and you are ready to learn and build yourself within that space. All right. So for market demand and future outlook, trust me, irrespective of what I put here, IT, I'm sure many of us would have heard that phrase, IT is the new oil. Um, IT will continue to grow. The need for IT personnel will continue to grow. And there might be shocks here and there, depending on the economic outlook in the world. But trust me, IT will continue to grow. The need for IT professionals will not be one that will stop anytime soon. And don't be threatened by the coming of artificial intelligence. And I say this a lot. Artificial intelligence is coming to enhance and make better the processes. But trust me, you still need people to interact on a lot of things within the AI. You need a lot of eyes to make sure that the artificial intelligence is doing what it's supposed to do. You need a lot of final human output to make sure that where there are issues, there are quick way to respond and address those issues. So because of that, specifically, software support and incident response are not uh, uh, aspects of IT to go away anytime soon. All right, all right. So I try to be on time. I don't know. Uh, thank you for listening. I think if we have any questions, if we have any uh, addendum, anyone can also share their opinion or experience. This is the time to do that. Thank you. Are we still here?
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah. All right. So please, if we have any question, can we drop it in the chat box? Yeah. As they are dropping that, I want to thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with us on cybersecurity. So, is there any specific section of cybersecurity that is easy to dive into? Like cybersecurity is broad, yeah. Are there like some session we can like dive into that are like easier than the others?
Yes, very well. And if you notice, that's why I've tried to limit the aspect of cybersecurity I've spoken about today to be incident response. Incident response is just a branch of cybersecurity within the Global Security Operations Center. There are many other areas of cybersecurity, but incident response is an area that I, is very easy to dive in. You can easily, learn how to be a very good incident responder, how to, if you have some of those technical skills, or build on those technical skills and soft skill that we've mentioned within the presentation so far. You can be a very good incident responder. You can be able to help any organization you work with to identify, isolate, recover from any threats posed by a threat actor. Oh, okay. I think we can. Yes, please. I think it will be better now. All right. Do we have any other question?
All right. I don't know if anyone else here has any other question to ask. All right. So in absence of that, I would love to thank you so much for keeping up with us. I know I was texting you for a really long time and you're always replying. I want to thank you for enlightening us today on cybersecurity and software support. This is something that I'm sure everyone will put into practice. Cybersecurity is essential in our lives because everyone is prone to scam. So these are things that we should learn, whether you are in it or not. I don't need to learn it, but I need to know how to handle some things. Um, for example, using Wi-Fi, public Wi-Fi. There was a situation where someone wanted to connect to my phone and she didn't have data. And I told her, oh yeah, you can connect. She refused. And I was like, why? She was like, she can't connect to anyone's hotspot. She said cybersecurity. I was like, explain. I wouldn't steal your data. I can't do that. So how do you think we can try to be careful in terms of logging into people's hotspots? I mean, we have like an office hotspot or a Wi-Fi that we connect to. So what are the safety precautions we can take into measures to secure our data?
Yeah, I think the very first thing is to make sure that you try never to connect to an open Wi-Fi or open connection. So as much as possible, always connect to Wi-Fi's that you know the source and you know that it has uh, another factor authentication. Could be 2FA, could be multi-factor authentication. Now, it is very important that way because when you connect to a Wi-Fi, depending on who you are connecting to, the person could have some level of access, into uh, your your data or your device. So you want to make sure that you know exactly the source of that Wi-Fi, and you are sure that it's not a Wi-Fi that is open that anybody can connect to. Once you have been able to do that due diligence, I believe you have been able to at least protect yourself at a very good starting point. Uh, there are some, you'll be surprised that there are many linked devices that you might have connected to a Wi-Fi and you don't know that already you know, a number of people have connected to that same device. And if some people on that network have some specific type of tools, they might be able to go into, get a way to send uh, malware into some of those devices within that network, and it could really be bad for that person. So you want to make sure that you be sure to know who, and this is also the very key things to note when you are trying to survive a phishing attack. Don't click on what you don't know. Don't join what you don't know, and don't act on anything that shows join now, join for free, just like that. Be very security conscious. And we say this in cybersecurity, that security is the responsibility of everybody within the organization, because the weakest person, and that's why a lot of times employee uh, awareness on security, uh, best practices, what you need to do, your do's and don'ts, especially when you are responding to a phishing attack, when you're seeing an email, does a phishing attack look? And that's why you see a lot of organizations these days, uh, they simulate phishing attacks to make sure that to see the number of employees within the organization that will click on this. And trust me, a lot of people still click on it. A lot of people. And uh, that awareness, making sure that you don't click on what you are not sure of, is very important. Anyone telling you to download something, anyone telling you to click, subscribe to a particular service that you are not sure of, you are not sure of the URL, you just want to be careful. Let me give an example quickly on that. There was a particular threat actor that started an impersonation campaign in such a way that it will look at create ng, for example, probably your email says createng.com. Then the threat actor creates another email that says createng.com, or or create without the eng.com. It creates this very similar URL to deceive anyone to assume that actually email is actually coming from a valid source. So if you are not very careful, if you are not sure of the URL, if you don't know, it's better to be safe. For organizations that have security practices entrenched internally, they always have an escalation matrix in terms of who you need to escalate any email, any suspicious email to. Better to escalate it to cybersecurity first to be sure before you click or interact with such an email. And yes, I think I had a question here about connecting through LinkedIn. Please, yes, you can. Available. If you have access to Mr. Dayo also, you can also get my number from him. He will give you even without asking me.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for answering that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So I'll read the questions that are in the chat box. It says, okay. How can one be good in pen testing or ethical hacking?
Penetration testing or ethical hacking. I say this. One thing that can make you become very good at this is the number of years you've practiced, you've worked within this role. And there's a reason for that. Many times you can't get a lot of basic knowledge from certifications, a lot of technical understanding from how to behave, what to test for. Like, for example, penetration testing. You are trying to make sure that you test for every possible flaw within an application. You are checking to be sure that you discover it before a threat actor will discover it, before a malicious user will discover it, so that you can prevent it before any issue comes up on it. A lot of organizations, once you develop yourself and you're able to get into an organization, I think your interest within that space, an ability to work on a number of cases, and depending on the organization, if it's an organization that have playbooks or standard operating procedures that are really good enough, and you can also build on that, it will help you to become better, because in interacting with a number of different applications and the way they operate, you tend to become a subject matter expert in understanding how applications work, in understanding, for example, if you are testing for a Java application, you know that, oh, I need to check this folder, I need to check this folder, I need to check that folder. That constant interaction within that space is what will actually make you a very good ethical hacker or penetration tester. Okay.
All right.
Another
I
question?
hope your question was answered, sir. So I'll move on to the next question. It said, can you provide the specific security requirements and standard that software must adhere to?
Can you provide the specific security requirement and standard that our software must adhere to? This is the question is very broad. Like, for example, I gave an example during the presentation of a security standard that the application I had once managed had to adhere to, and that is the PCI DSS, the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard. That standard guides and regulates how customer card information are managed, transmitted, and stored within either in flight or at rest. So there are many other standards with respect to a couple of other organizations. There's the ISO standards. There's the so depending on the type of application that you manage, then you have to comply with that standard. The standard itself is not what is important. What is important is that you make sure that whatever space you operate in, if there is a standard, you make sure that your application beforehand complies with the minimum requirement or the key requirement of those standards. Like, for example, I go back to PCI DSS, very familiar with that. We do that yearly, and you don't want the auditor to come in and see that you are actually not encrypting customer information in the database and you're actually storing it in cloud. You are going to fail that compliance test, and in fact, it could lead to stopping you from actually operating with customer card data. So it has a very, very, very important implication, and it could lead to every other third party disconnecting their systems from you, meaning that you are a very high risk person. You are exposing customer data. You should not be, nobody should do business with you. So for that kind of instance, we usually, when in the team I used to work then, we take a lot of effort to make sure that we don't only make sure that the data that we are storing at rest complies with PCI DSS standard. We also make sure that because some of the standards are also updated, we are also up to date. Together with the audit team, we also make sure that we are up to date with respect to the requirements of that certification. Like, for example, within the years I've worked, I know that at a point in time, initially the standard said the data at rest should just be maxed, which is you can leave the first 6 and last 4 digits of the customer card number in the database. However, at a point in time, the information says, no longer maxed, we want it fully encrypted. And we have to implement that also. So depending on the standard that works within the space that guides the application that you might manage, not a particular one. I've given the example I've given you is only within the payment space, and you just make sure that you stay on top of it. You stay aware of new development on that space, and you make sure that you take proactive effort in complying before your organizations get audited for those certifications. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for that. I would love to thank everyone here for your participation, for listening. We've had this program for 2 weeks now. Today is the closing ceremony. Today is the last day, basically. And thank you for rounding off with this beautiful session. It was really wonderful and helpful, or it is. If you want to follow more for the audience, I already dropped our YouTube page or our YouTube link. Don't worry, he said you should not click on anyhow link. This is actually legit. So please click on our link and subscribe. And if you want more information, you can reach out to me. I'm Modesta. I will drop my number here, or you could visit our website for more. Yeah, I just dropped my number. You could visit our website for more information on this. So for the past 2 weeks, we've learned not just tech skills, we've learned soft skills too, because we know soft skills are really important in our tech world today. Because when you can't communicate, when you can't solve problems, when you can't think critically, what's the point of knowing how to use these tools? So when you want to actually practice these skills, it's really nice that you have soft skills in hand too. So these are things you would learn when you subscribe to our page, and subscribe to our academy too. We take classes on each of this stuff, even cybersecurity. Mr. TJ, my pleasure. It's our pleasure. Thank you so much for being here.
Having me.
Yes. And
Thank you
do
so
we
much.
have any other thing to say? I mean, if we don't have, we can round off now. It's been a wonderful experience for me, honestly speaking.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Thank
Good
you
evening.
all.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gafar Ibrahim. So,
Okay.
as Master have said, she's my colleague actually. I also work at Creating, and as she has said that to keep up and make sure you make a whole lot of opportunity out of this 2 weeks training, you should consider signing up for Creating Academy. So you would ask me why. Okay. Now everything you've been open to and be exposed to for the past 2 weeks has been a very wonderful opportunity and a very great insight in tech. Okay, what most people problem most people have when signing up for tech or transitioning to tech is what should they do? There's always the question of how and why. How do I go about it? Why should I go about it? And even the most confusing aspect of it is what should I do? Now, you've been exposed to 2 weeks of training from various tech experts, cybersecurity, data science, UI, UX, web development. And now, by now, you should have come to a conclusion that, okay, this is what works best, this will work best for you over this. And now, after making the yeah, now that begs the question of how do you now continue learning and how do you leverage on this opportunity and complete this learning process? That is why Creating Academy is here for you. You can sign up today, you can sign up tomorrow, but just know it is starting next month, which is the month of August. The first week of the first week of August, the academy session will kickstart. And now this is a very wonderful opportunity for you to sign in. Thank God, thankfully my colleague has dropped her number and you also have access to the Creating website. So you can go there and make more inquiry. Also, if you want more inquiry right now, you can also like drop your chat in the chat box and your questions will be answered. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Gafar, for that. I'm sure they would take this into consideration. All right. So without any other thing, would love to end this meeting now. Thank you, Mr. TJ. Thank you, everyone, for
Thank you so
being
much.
here.